Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Minute. I'm your host, Dr. Pete. You know, we've been talking about perspective over the past few months and how important it is. Your perspective, or the way you see things, sets your emotional state and how you feel. And how you feel will control your behaviors. And then your behaviors will actually produce your outcome. So your outcome is this: if your life isn't that great, then you must not be taking consistent action to make it better. And why is that you're not making progress? Because your perspective stinks. And why is that? Because of the questions you ask yourself. So more importantly than anything else, the questions that we ask ourselves set the tone for our emotional state, which sets the tone for what we're willing to do in our behaviors and our ability to act and our ultimate outcome. So we need to ask better questions, and that's what I want to share with you today. So if you wake up every morning, which you did today, obviously, if you're watching this video, you had to ask yourself a whole slew of questions before you even got out of bed. What time do I get up? Should I hit the snooze button again? Am I going to get in the shower first, or am I going to eat breakfast first? What am I going to eat for breakfast? What clothes am I going to wear? Should I iron them? Do I need gas before I make my trek into work? Should I stop and get a coffee and a donut? What kind of donut should I get? What kind of coffee should I get? Should I call that client before I get to work or afterwards? Holy smokes. Can you imagine how many questions that you ask of yourself in a daily routine? Many questions. And some of these are just simple everyday questions, the ones I just asked, that aren't empowering or disempowering. But unfortunately, we tend to ask unempowering questions like, oh, why am I so fat? Why are my finances so poor? Why do I have to go to work? You see, every time you ask the question why, you don't come up with an answer. Well, you do come up with an answer. Actually, your brain will find an answer to those questions, and you may not like the answer that you get. But I think my point was, you don't find an answer that's empowering. There's no strategy behind asking a question of why. There's strategies wrapped around questions that begin with, how can I? So let's ask this question instead. How can I make today a better day than yesterday? How can I today make my physical health better than it was yesterday? How about this one? What can I do today that will increase my connection with all my patients? And for you, for all your coworkers, what can I do today that'll let my children know how much they mean to me? You see, every time you ask that question, what can I do or how can I do it, you now have a strategy. And that strategy changes your emotional state, which then changes your behavior, which then changes your outcome. We want to keep moving in the positive direction. You see, happiness is predicated on small or large, doesn't matter the amplitude, but consistent changes for the better. So when you start a new project, everybody's all excited. We're all into this project. Of course, then you get to the nuts and bolts and it's a little more difficult. Maybe the progress slows down, but if every day you come to work and you say, okay, yesterday this project was difficult. How can we improve the quality of today's work by 2%, 5%, 10%? You're asking a question that provides some specific answer that will lead you into a direction of growth and prosperity. We want to move forward. Constantly moving forward feels good. How do we move forward? We need a roadmap. How do we get a roadmap? We ask questions that provide answers, which are part of that roadmap. That would be those questions that begin with, how can I, or what can I do? If the question begins with why, and you're not a student in college or in elementary or in high school, what a wasted question. Why is everybody that I work with just so unfriendly? Or ask this question. What can I do to engage everybody that I work with today so that we can all have a better day emotionally together and grow together as a team? One question doesn't work for you. The other question provides a strategy. Ask the right question, get the right strategy. Ask the right question, get a better perspective. Get a better perspective, what you're willing to do and the actions to take are so much easier. And as your actions improve, your outcome improves. And any small bit of improvement is happiness. Well, that was easy. All right, so this week, you want to start your week off not by asking those kind of cruddy questions of yourself like why. Ask those questions, what can I do today that's going to make this one of the best days of my life? How's that sound? Keep that up day in and day out, and be aware of the fact that the questions you ask yourself will either make you or break you. Hope you had an amazing week this week. I hope you had a great weekend, as a matter of fact. And look forward to hearing more comments and feedback on the internet. By the way, also, I just want to reiterate, like I did last week, if you've been catching my show on social media, switch over once in a while to drpercoco.com here. And if you haven't already, sign up for the blog there. As my ebook comes out, there'll be some perks that go with it because you're part of the blog. Anyway, have an awesome week. I'll see you next week on the Monday Morning Minute.